Hey there, everybody. Professor Cloud here with our next episode of Professor Builds the Satisfactory. The waiting is starting to get to be agonizing. We're so close, but we've still got so far to go. Because of how long some of these things take to craft, I don't know how I'm going to be able to create content. And I know that's not your problem. You're just here to watch and enjoy, but... Anyway, we did find that there was a problem with the creation of copper powder. So the very first thing that we're going to do in this episode is fix that problem, and then go back to beautifying one of the iron production facilities, and then we might start working on the steel production facility as well. It does give me an opportunity to kind of reorganize things, make them feel a little bit better, knowing that at some point I may want to upgrade to Mark III miners, which would completely change the landscape of everything, but, you know, it is what it is. So let's go ahead and jump back in and get back to work, pushing towards Phase 5. Okay, here we are back at the copper facility, the little teeny tiny copper facility that we put together just for the copper powder. And as you'll recall, we actually are only using a Mark I miner. So that's the very first thing that we're going to do is upgrade this to a Mark II. I needed to go and craft a portable miner in order to make that happen. And then we can put in a second constructor to craft additional or double copper powder. It's not going to be a huge improvement, but it is still going to be an improvement. So let's get to work here. I don't think I can do over top. I don't think they'll allow me to. Well, plus I don't have the extra miner anyway. Alright, so let's... Alright, Mark II. Let's do... two more smelters. Yep, okay. Alright, I'm going to have to split this, because this is now producing 120. So... And I think each one of these only need 30. No, they need 45. Oh, that's right, because I increased... Okay, let me do this then. The default is 30 each. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so I'll do that into another splitter. And then into another splitter here. Okay. And then each one of these will split. And I don't really care that much about clipping in this instance because I just want it to go. Alright, so let's run power from you to you. That'll get the ore running. Alright, now then, the only other thing that I need to do is set up another constructor. This is going to be ugly just simply because of the amount of space that I have. So I do apologize right off the bat. Alright, we're going to put down a merger. Actually, you know what? Let me put a constructor down so I know what space I have. First of all, it's got to go this way. Yeah, you're not going to like the looks of this. Alright, we'll do that there. We'll put the merger here. Okay. Copper powder. Okay. Now I just need to get this power. As I said, not necessarily pretty, but it's doing what I need it to do, which is create copper powder, and now double the amount. This actually would have been a perfect opportunity to try out the Mark III. I'd have to have gone and grabbed 5 supercomputers and 10 fused modular frames, but I could have given this a try, which would have bumped us to 240 output of ore, and the difference is this would have taken a lot more planning, because there's not a lot of physical space, and to put in 8 smelters instead of only 4, and therefore 4 constructors instead of only 2, plus the storage necessary. Yeah, I don't think the physical space limitations would have been tough. Okay, let me grab. There should be at least 500 in here. Nope, there's not. Well, crap. Okay, let me go grab more aluminum. I just hope this doesn't affect... Alright. Just out of curiosity, let's see how many advanced director systems we've got now that we're up to 250. 17. Okay. Yep. Yeah, grabbing the supercomputers would have been easy. Look at how many are there. It would have been the fused modular frames that would have been tough, because I haven't been crafting any. I've been because of the fact that I needed aluminum casings for both fuse modular frames and the remote control units. Come on, give me 5 more. Although 400 is really all I need to do 2 more nuclear pasta. Okay. Alright, back to our beautification project. Now that we have solved that particular problem, well, we haven't really solved it. It's actually still a problem. I did notice one thing, and I think they're here. Yeah, I mean, I only had 57, I think, steel pipes in my inventory. Keep them moving. We're up to 229. 21 more, and we'll be done with remote control units, and we can convert this over to turbo motors, which I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, and we've definitely got enough computers to do it. But yeah, actually, we should be able to wrap up remote control, radio control units and switch over to turbo motors, which is the last piece that we need to start crafting the thermal propulsion rockets. So that's good at least. I'm just looking to see how easy it's going to be to convert the, to put walls up here. Because I'm actually using the floor area for this one. But then I've also gone outward beyond it. Yeah, this one's going to take a little bit more work. In addition, we've got this issue where I'm going out and up instead of just straight up. Because really what I could do is take this ore... Hold on a minute, is this... No, that's a Mark II. Okay. So that... 240, okay. Oh, that's right, these were pure veins. Okay. Yeah, and then I'm sending 2 120s up. And then splitting them up there. But I could also go up into 2 holes in the floor instead. From either side of the splitter. Alright, here's what we're going to do real quick. I know I'm still working on that over there, but let's put up some walls. Do I have... I think there's a way that I can actually send Nope, I'm wrong. I thought there was a, like the conveyor lift floor hole, I thought there was a wall hole. Yeah, there it is, conveyor wall. So, I mean, I could stick with this, but then I'm not going to be able to put walls up there. So, yeah, I still think it's better to just go up through the floor. And say, actually, let's, here, you know what? Let's just do it. There we go. Alright, let me put a new ladder up. And then we'll enclose up to there. Now I'm going to have to do it again up there. With probably another hole, say, here. And I'm going to put another ladder just to make it easy on myself. Yeah, there we go. Hey, it's one side. This is another one where I'm not going to be able to do the whole thing. I'm probably just going to do 3 sides of it, but still. The question now, though, is this going to work? Because it's no. There's no freaking way. Alright. Put it there. That'll do. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah. There we go. Now we're going to have to change how the splitters work. That are sending the 60s. Yeah, see, yeah. These are sending 60 each. Yeah, I'm going to have to change how this works. Because this is sending up 120. This should be 4 smelters. I'm probably going to need to reconfigure every bit of this. And to be honest, that's perfectly fine. That's the whole reason of doing this beautification project in the first place, is because I knew this area in particular was completely inefficient. That facility is efficient for what it's trying to accomplish. Now, I could do better. I could absolutely do better. But cool. Okay, well, that's something that we'll have to look forward to. Yeah, the steel facility is going to take a little bit more work. All right, let's see where we're at here. Okay, we can stop this now. We have 250. We were out of computers anyway. We actually have 251, to be honest. All right, so I'm going to take you. I'm going to take all of you, because you're now going to go over to fuse modular frames. I'm going to take you. Oh, God, we've got 100. I'm going to take the crystal oscillators. Wow, way too many crystal oscillators. Holy crap. All right, so this is rubber. All right, so we're going to switch to turbo motors. Rubber, motors, radio control units, and cooling systems. We need 1,000 motors, 1,000 cooling systems, 250 radio control units, and just a crap ton of rubber. Oh, this doesn't need to be a Mark II. I thought it did. Okay, so this will be the radio control units. I almost shit myself. I thought I couldn't. I was missing 50. All right, we need 1,000 motors. The modular engines are for the thermal propulsion rockets. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 1,000 cooling systems. Oh, shoot. There, 8,000. Yep. Okay. Now, don't ask me what I'm going to do with these cooling system or crystal oscillators yet, or the crystal. Okay, so I need 1,000 motors. I think I have. No, I don't. Okay, let me go grab those from up at the copper facility. And I just realized, with the exception of the copper veins that are currently being used to craft the computers, supercomputers, circuit boards, all of that, the other two copper facilities, this one and the one that's doing the copper powder, are minor in comparison. How much copper sheeting do I have? 76? I should probably grab a little more. Oh yeah, where you, motors are here. Okay. Let me drop off those. That's 400, 800. Okay, never mind. I've got 1,000. Let me turn that off so that we can actually save a little bit of power. I don't have enough room. Alright, well there's 500. Let me grab that, put that into storage, and get the turbo motors crafting, because something tells me they're going to take a while. I don't know why I would say that. Seems like everything in Phase 4 takes a while. Now we're up to 35 nuclear pastas. $1.875 per minute. Whose bright idea was that? One of the things I would like to do is put windows, especially up on the second floor. But I need silica to do that. So I think what we're going to do is I need to make a trip to go drop off this aluminum casing over to the fused modular frames so we can get fused modular frames back. We need 250 of those to craft the thermal propulsion rockets. We've only got about 150, maybe 175 total. So what we're going to do before we get back to beautifying this thing is we're going to make a quick trip back over to aluminum casing and copper powder to grab what we can. Actually, before I even do that, let me drop these crystals off here, because I've got plenty. I don't need to keep them in my inventory. Crystal oscillators, on the other hand, because I need them for radio control units, I'll put them in here. I'll keep 30 in my inventory. Oh, and then I've got all this ore. Let me get rid of that too. Okay. Just out of curiosity, how many tickets do we have? 5. Okay. Alright. Let's go grab some more copper powder, some more aluminum casing. Then we'll head over to the fused modular frames. And then we'll grab some silica. Because I don't want to grab... I know I could grab silica over here, but I don't want to, knowing that it's being used as quickly as it can be for aluminum casing production. I would much rather grab all of the extra silica that's down in the tunnel. Oh, that actually went smoothly. Okay. Now, let's see if in that quick trip... Yeah, that's just too little. I mean, it's crafting it as quickly as it can. But this is going to be the limiter, or the bottleneck, sorry, for the crafting of the nuclear pasta. Alright, I'm going to have to just let that sit for a bit. Alright, over to modular frames, fused modular frames, which have not been touched since I started the production of radio control units. The good thing is, I now have a solid knowledge of what's needed for these much more complicated parts. Figuring that they're going to be needed. Oh, one of the... Yeah, I'm still having water problems with the copper, with the coal mines, coal production, coal generators here. They're just not getting enough water. And it's because of the... No offense, Coffee Stain, but you all designed the water production very badly. It does not meet with thermodynamic principles. Right, that's modular frames. The aluminum casings are coming from here. Okay. So this will get back to crafting fused modular frames. And we have... Oh, we only have 24. Oh, that's right. I moved some... Oh, crap. I don't think I'm... Yes, I did. We're okay. I moved them over to be closer to where turbo motors are being produced right now. I don't know how many we have, though. That's okay. It's not a big deal. I'll find out as soon as... Yeah, as soon as I get back to the hub. Should probably... Yeah. So the reason I know I'm having problems is because of yellows and then reds every once in a while. So some of these are just not maintaining water, and it's because... So for whatever reason, this is only getting 7.4. 13.5 in the same pipe. And I think it's because of this. The pipeline support somehow is actually preventing flow. And this is also preventing flow. 21.7 to 12.9. That one makes sense because it's offloading half of it this direction. And to be honest, I'm not sure that I need to. But this would still be preventing production or flow. Okay, that's better. So we're at 20 here. 25. Yeah. So this is stopping production by half. Or not production, sorry, flow. 25.7. It's going to eventually make it up to 34.5. And this is half of that. Just over half of it. All because of this. And that... I'm sorry, unless this is a smaller hole than the two pipes that are on either side, that does not fit with the laws of liquid dynamics. The only way to stop flow is either at the initial end of production, meaning the extractor. If it somehow loses the amount of water it's able to suck up, or it loses power and is able to stop pushing as hard, then the amount of water in the pipe should not change unless the pipe size itself changes. And then from there, it's because of these splitters. I don't like having to use 4 splitters because each one of them shuts it down even further. But, like, actually, I could remove this one. And can go like that. And that removes part of it. But look, you've got these guys that are having the exact same problem. And I think part of it is because of this. And then we'll do the same thing here. Okay. I think that's going to help. I don't know for certain. I just know it's been bugging the crap out of me. And I really wish someone from Coffee Stain would contact me about it, because I've been complaining nonstop since I started playing the game again. The laws of liquid dynamics do not work that way. Alright, I don't need to grab a lot of silica here. I just need to grab, I don't know, 200 to 400. I just ran past one of the spiders. I have no doubt he's chasing me, and he's going to follow me all the way to the ends of the earth, because that's what the spiders do. Unlike a good Souls or Souls-like game, these enemies don't have tethers or rubber bands or whatever you want to call them. Alright, so this is all crystal now. That's right, I made the switch. Alright, I'm gonna switch this to... You asked for it. You followed me all the way here. Gotta love how they show up through the rocks. I think it's only those two. I don't think there's any others. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do a regular... The silica just doesn't get used all that much. Unless it's aluminum silica. How much do I need for a windowed wall? Two. Yeah, just 2 each. No matter which one I choose. Yeah, they're all exactly the same. Okay, so I don't need a ton. Alright, there we go. That works. We'll let that run. Let's see if me changing the water pattern actually fixed anything, or potentially made things worse. Green. Yellow. This one's still a problem. Here, let me get up top. Yeah, I mean, there's still yellows. I don't see any reds anymore. And it does take a while to catch up with water. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I think that actually did help solve the problem. It's just going to take a little... In order for them to get to consistent power flow, it's just going to take a little while for the water to fill at the end of the pipe. That is one of the things. I mean, you can push water as hard as you want, but the longer the pipe, of course, the longer it's going to take to fill. And when it's also sucking out at the other end, you know, that's also going to cause issues. All right, let's put some windows. Oh, just out of curiosity. 29. Okay. Good stuff. Oh, I wanted to see real quickly how many fused modular frames I had. Alright, this I can get rid of now. Okay, so I have 98. There was 30-something over at the facility, or over at the fused modular frame production. So we've still got about another 120 to go before we have all that we need. And then for thermal propulsion rockets, it's modular frames, turbo motors, fused modular frames, and then there's 800 cooling systems. So that's why I have the extra cooling systems here. So I've got 400 extra 65, and the remaining should be over at the cooling system production. There should be, matter of fact, I'm almost positive there already is enough. So I'm just going to have to go and grab that. Yeah, so we should be in good shape. All right, let's get back to the beautification project. Although we're almost out of time for the day because I'm trying to keep to a shorter schedule while we're doing the waiting game. All right, let me go up my ladder. Because remember, we were also redoing all of this up here. So this is where the iron rods were coming in to craft screws. And then the screws were coming in to craft rotors. Rotors are going into here. And then this is smart plating. So the thing that we did not do is fix the smart plating. That's where we left off. However, before we do that, let's add some light. I'm going to use reinforced. Maybe. There we go. Hey, it's not a great amount of light, but it's nice. I don't think I want to put one on the end. Nope, wrong thing. So I could put one there. And then do the remaining part as well, just like I've got down the other end. Then the question is, do we put windows on the sides? I don't know yet, but... Okay. Alright, so... the next thing that I need to do is resolve all of this. So we need 2 constructors, both making screws. Alright, so the splitter's there. Okay. I'm not worried about power because I don't have any power anyway. And then those were merging into this storage unit. Okay, I see what I was doing. Alright, so let's get rid of you. Whoa, no. I almost messed that up. Let me do this first. Okay, so that's where the reinforced plates need to come in. That's what I wanted to know. Alright, so these two are going to merge. Yeah. What do they produce? 40 per minute? Okay. And they're going to go into a big boy. Okay. No doubt. Okay. Good stuff. Then this is going to go into an assembler, which will go into another storage unit. Now, the great part of this is I'm going to be able to redo my pillars afterward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to put you right here. No, I can't do it that way. Well, I'm not going to have a back wall, so I can do it from there. I am so bad at putting freaking storage units down in the right direction. Now, I do need to split. Okay, hold on. This is the screws. Let me put... Okay. So that's part one. And I think what I'm going to need to do is put the assembler probably this way. All right, where's the output? All right, this is going to be reinforced plates, 60 per minute. And then I need to bring the iron plates up through a hole here and then send them down this way. Okay, we'll take those and those. Okay. So what I'm going to need is a splitter here. Okay, and then we'll put the dimensional depot right here. Perfect. There we go. Still a big open space here in the middle, but... Alright, let's solve the... There we go. Alright, then what I can do is when I fill this side with wall, I can put in 2 more power inputs for that side, and I can run them directly from the tower. That being said... Why do I even need this tower? Yeah, that, to be honest, that was kind of weird. I don't know why I had that. All right, okay, let's see. Alright. So we need a hole. The other problem is this is going to affect where I can put a pillar. Let me see if I can put a wall here. Okay. Not an even number of slots. That's okay. Of course, now I gotta figure out how to get up. Alright, let's put in a new ladder. Okay. Okay. That gets us back to even playing ground. So that when I turn the power back on for everything, in other words, I'm not going to be using the particle accelerator, then everything will get back online and fill up. At least for the iron facility. Now, the one thing, real quickly, actually, that's not what I wanted. One of the things that I definitely would like to try and do is figure out a better way of crafting, not a better way, storing up modular frames. Because if we're going to keep needing both heavy modular frames, fused modular frames, and you got to expect that in Phase 5 there's going to be a new version of modular frame that's going to get unlocked, you're always going to need that base. So the more that I can produce and store, the better. And they're used in so many things. Look, so just looking at what they're used for, okay, Xenobasher, not going to worry about that. They were needed in versatile frameworks. They're needed, of course, in heavy modular frames. And heavy modular frames are used in fused modular frames, as well as many other things, as we've already seen. That, you know, that just requires them as a base component. So I think we're probably going to need to make sure that we have that also. One of the recipes is iron rods and reinforced plates. So if I were more efficient with this facility in how the ore is being distributed and consumed. Oh, wow, we've actually got a whole bunch of space down here that we could potentially use. In any case, yeah, we could actually run this. We could actually run a splitter here, especially if we move these to Mark 2s, or Mark 3s, I think. Yeah, they're already Mark 2s, and they're pure, so they're already sending out 120 Or 240. 240 per minute. Yeah, we're not being efficient up on the second floor. So if we were more efficient, we could produce more iron rods and produce more reinforced plates, and then combine those two to produce modular frames and store them here. Add them to a dimensional depot as well. Just something to think about. In any case, let's go ahead and add another row of wall. I did just realize one small problem. I don't have a way to get to the second floor from the third floor. Oh, yes, I do. I know I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Remember this big hole? There we go. It's not what I want, but it works. Real quickly before I wrap it up, let's add some pillars. Now, I'm curious, did that go through the floor? No, it didn't. Okay, good. Let me... God, I don't have any place to do that here. Okay. Again, not perfect. But it does look a whole lot better, don't you think? I think it does. So if I run a simple power pole here, then what we can do is put a double there. And then we'll put a double over there. And see how 2 on either side works. We may have to go with 3, but at least there's a way to very easily and clean and much cleaner looking give power to the building. I may actually do the same thing down here, except for use a Mark 1, and then have that feed the power to the miners. In any case, that's going to do it for this particular episode. I got a lot done. We are still moving along with production. Let's see where we are. We're at 70 turbo motors out of a total of 250 that we need. We now are producing more modular frames, but we are lacking on the nuclear pastas. That being said, from a power perspective, we can actually run this in parallel to this. Because once the turbo motors are done, I'm then going to convert this over to thermal propulsion rocket production and feed that directly into the space elevator. So, with that, I hope that everyone has a great rest of your day. And as always, if you are enjoying the content, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and comment button. And hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Talk to you soon.